in charge, and also a woman talking about as literary who's made her literary dream come true. A lot of hard work, a lot of sweat, an awful lot of dedication and talent. But that's enough about me. We are going to be meeting very soon indeed Joanna Louise Wright, whose first book, Benchmark, with some beautiful illustrations, is out even as we speak, and she's also the mum of two teenage boys to whom she's dedicated the book. Good afternoon and welcome to the studio to Joanna. Now, Joanna has fulfilled an ambition. Joanna Louise Wright from Reading, who also runs dance studios in Caversham, including the Wright School of Dance and Wiggle Waggle, which I suspect is either for very limber and fit and flexible pensioners or for children, Joanna?
I think it's for both, to be honest, but it is for under fives, yeah.
It's not so much the dance we're going to talk about today, although maybe there's a dance element to the title of your book. You have written your first book called Benchmark. How big an achievement is that for you?
Oh, it's incredible, and this whole year has been incredible from the start in January when I sort of told people that I'd done this, to actually self-publishing it and then now to promoting it. It's just been an amazing adventure.
And some lovely illustrations in the book. How did you hook up with the illustrator?
Well, she's actually a friend of mine, and she is a graphic designer, but I kind of thought I need to find an illustrator. I had no idea where to start looking. And I just thought I know she's an artist, so I'm going to approach her. And I did that, and we had a cup of tea and a chat, and she said she'd love to work on it with me. I told her exactly what I wanted to do, these silhouette illustrations, and she literally just came up with everything that was in my head. She put it onto paper. Absolutely incredible. Her name's Patricia Lewis.
And before we unpick what the book's about, which we'll do in a little while, you were listening to me chatting to Harriet there about the Henley Children's Literary Festival. Your book is dedicated to your two teenage sons, is that right?
That's right, yeah, that's right.
Now, what did you read to them when they were younger? And are they readers? And what turned you on to reading? What was the first proper book you ever read? Three questions there, I know, but it's a deal.
Yeah.
Buy two, get one free.
Well, I'll go with me. My first book that I just remember taking out of the library again and again and again, and I think a lot of people will say the same in my generation, was The Tiger That Came to Tea.
Oh, yes.
So that was the one which I just kept returning to the library and then taking straight back out.
And there was a stage adaptation of that that toured the country. It came, I think it was like the Hexagon for a while.
Yeah,
as well.
And I missed that because my boys were a little bit too old by that point.
I went to see it.
Did you?
It was amazing.
I wish that would have been the dream.
It will be back again. Maybe when you have grandchildren.
Yes, maybe, but not too soon.
In 20 years' time or something. And also, what did your boys like having read to them, or what did you share with them?
Yeah, I mean, they were particularly boyish. So we were, it was sort of dinosaurs, firemen, Horrid Henry, it was all that sort of thing. We'd find anything to do with fire engines was the big thing for us in our house.
Dear Zoo, the animal soundtrack at the moment is quite a big
one
hit.
of my favourites, and that's been going for years now.
Yeah.
So my son is nearly 20, so it's that.
Nearly 20? You don't look old enough, woman.
Thank you very much.
Are you a child bride or something?
It's all the dancing. That's what I put it down.
See, normally when people tell me their age, I say, "Oh, you've had a hard life," but I can't say it to you.
I'm not going to tell you my age.
Oh,
I just
dear me.
organise a literary festival.
You've got to be maybe early 20s.
Thanks.
Oh, I'm a
Paul,
silver-tongued cavalier this afternoon.
No.
On BBC Radio Berkshire, more conversation with Harriet and with Joanna in just a moment. We're going to find out about Joanna's book and more about the Henley Literary Festival in general and the children's element of it in particular. It's now 2:17. I do love the sound of that, as fresh as the day it was minted. That's the Electric Light Orchestra on BBC Radio Berkshire with It's a Living Thing. And we're in conversation this afternoon with Joanna Louise Wright, dance instructor. You're a kind of positive life coach as well, aren't you, Joanna?
Yeah.
And also, let's turn now, if we may, Joanna, to your book. Now, it's called Benchmark.
Yeah.
It's your first novel, and you've got some fantastic illustrations in it. How long did it take you to write? And can you tell us a bit about the plot? What's it about?
Okay, well, I first picked up the pen in January 2012.
Old school.
Yeah.
Genuinely long. You wrote it longhand.
That's why there's a pen on the front of the book.
Okay, so it's a long handwritten novel.
So it's a long handwritten novel. And I did it as a bit of a challenge to myself, just to see. It was something I've always wanted to do, to see the book on the shelf with my name on it. So I, thought, right, okay, I've got to do this. I read an article in a magazine saying you could spend 30 minutes a day on your dream. And so I thought, right, okay, I can put 30 minutes aside every day, which is what I did. So I picked up my notebook every day, just writing either 100 words or 500 words. And eventually I kind of got to my end point, which took me 2.5 years to actually finish writing it. And that was last summer. And then I thought, right, I've got to go back and make it better. I've got to make it readable. I've got to edit it. And so that's taken me another year.
Now, you've only just given it to me, which is very, very poor behaviour. No, but I will read it. But
you can have that one.
I've had a look through and seen some of the illustrations, and I've noticed it ends with a little doodle from rut to strut.
Yeah.
So is it a book with a message? Obviously, it's got a journey, as all books have. Do you want to tell us what the journey is and what you think the message is?
Okay, the journey is, it's quite autobiographical. So I drew from my own experiences.
So you end up meeting a hunky radio presenter?
Oh, yeah, this is in the
That'll
next
happen for you one day, not
this
today,
is going to be in the
obviously.
next one,
Not in this building. Not in this building. Unless you're coming early for Andrew Peach.
So basically it's a story that it's very close to my own life, but I've changed the characters and I have made it fiction. So it's about a girl who finds herself in a single parent, having been a teenage parent at the age of 21. She's lost all sense of self. She doesn't know where she's going. She's got these two young people who depend on her, and she hasn't got a clue what to do. She's completely lost. And it's the journey over 10 years of this young woman who eventually finds her feet. But alongside that, there's this love story.
This rather challenging sounding chap.
Yeah, challenging is the word, and I think some people would describe him in far stronger terms. But it was a love story running through those 10 years, and how Alana, who's the main character, how she develops as a person.
And is it saucy?
Sadly not.
No, just checking, because I don't want to get... Not on my time of life, I haven't got the stamina.
No, well, because I have my two teenage boys, I felt very strongly that I didn't want to embarrass them. And I think at this point of their lives, that would be the worst thing that I could possibly do.
Yeah.
So, no, it's not saucy, but it's more emotional. It's more of an emotional trip for the reader. That's what I'm hoping to achieve.
Okay, can you both stick around for another 5 minutes?
Yeah,
We're going to talk some more with Joanna Louise Wright and also Harriet Ryan from the Henley Literary Festival, the children's events. There are 50 of them this year, starting September the 28th, running all the way through to October the 4th. This is BBC Radio Berkshire. BBC Radio Berkshire, and that'll be your Leona Lewis there, former X Factor winner, of course, and it's back on our screens, as is Strictly. Taking a step away, kind of a nicely choreographed step away from our book discussion for a second, Joanna.
Yeah.
Joanna Louise Wright is with us, who runs, alongside writing her first novel, you run the Wright School of Dance and Wiggle Waggle, which I suspect is for the juniors.
Yeah, the Wiggle Waggle is for under fives, but the parents enjoy it far more than children, I think.
And are you a Strictly Come Dancing fan, which was back last week? It won't return for 3 weeks when they've got acquainted with their partners.
That is a very good question. I used to be far more, but since I've been doing this writing stuff, it's kind of taking up a lot more of my time. So I have been away from the TV, unfortunately, but I will catch up with it, yeah.
You're missing nothing.
Oh.
They call it a medium because it's very rare, it's well done, as the great American comic Ernie Kovacs once said. And you brought some children's books in for us as well. These are faves of your boys when they were younger. What are your lads' names?
Harvey and Ronan.
Okay, which one do you prefer?
Oh.
Just checking. Some mums like to
Harvey's recording it.
And how often is Ronan called Ronan the Barbarian in your house? Got to be quite a lot.
Far too often, probably.
Okay, and what books have you bought in that they used to love?
Okay, well, I've bought in The Tiger Who Came to Tea, because that was one that I forced upon them, really. They didn't enjoy it that much, but I
it's a tiger, but it's a girl.
Yeah.
It's a little girl, Mum.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no pirates or sword fighting or guns in it, Mum.
No, that's right.
Or lightsabers, Mum. It's a tiger and a girl and tea.
Absolutely. And so, that was really my guilty pleasure as when they were younger. But The Forgetful Little Fireman, which was a Ladybird book, that was absolutely a favourite. And
there's something so sweet about those Ladybird books. The design and everything just is so redolent of childhood, isn't it? It just says, that's my childhood.
That's right. And there was quite a lot of humour in that one, so it's good for me as well. And
a couple of others. Is that Horrid Henry?
Horrid Henry, yeah, that was a favourite. When
Horrid Henry's Stink Bomb.
About 8.
That's it. That's the perfect title for a boy, Horrid Henry. And the final one under there?
And the final one was the Usborne Puzzle Adventure. The Incredible Dinosaur Expedition.
Ooh,
and that one was brilliant.
Because my grandsons love a bit of dinosaur action, so I have to check those out.
That one.
Okay, and your book is called Benchmark. That's Joanna Louise Wright. How can people get hold of a copy of this, Joanna?
At the moment, it's available on Amazon and Kindle because I've self-published it. So, but I'm looking to get into bookshops eventually.
And I do love this, one of the taglines, because some of the chapters end with a little motto. Never underestimate the power of a happy ending.
Yep.
That's a lovely thought to end on. Is your next one already in your head?
Yes, it's in my head and in the notebook. The plan is all there.
And what's it going to be called?
That I don't know.
How about, I've got one for you. How about Captain Corelli's Mandolin or Wolf Hall? You guaranteed sales on those two,
Do
wouldn't
you think so? Okay, I'm going to write that down.
Thank you very much. You've been a great sport. Thank you for coming to see us. Joanna Louise Wright, author of Benchmark, also takes part in or runs the Wright School of Dance and Wiggle Waggle right here in Caversham from Caversham Heights. And also Harriet Ryan, event director in charge of all the children's events, all 50 of them at Henley Literature Festival, who's back on with Phil Kennedy a little later on today, 4:30 today. Thank you both very much indeed for taking time out to come and see us live in the studio here at BBC Radio Berkshire.